BF Day proudly presents Mr. M's math class.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Mr. M's math class. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to bring up the talent show that Mr. Olegario talked about on Wednesday, and a conversation I had with Vance. Vance sent me an email a while ago that he was still memorizing pi. If you remember, we were going to have a pi memorization contest, and because of what happened, we weren't able to do it. And so I said that he should totally do it for the talent show, which got me thinking that maybe we should still have a virtual pi memorization contest. And so I'm going to be thinking about that for the next week or so and come up with some sort of protocol for us to still do it in a way that is honorable, and I'll see if we can open it up to the whole school. But I just wanted to kind of throw it out there that there are students that are still thinking about the pi memorization contest. I'm actually going to put it in the email and in Schoology, the pi digits, so that you can practice at home. So if you want to start memorizing them, this would be a great time to do that. So thanks, Vance, for giving us that suggestion. He actually knows over 70 digits already, which is pretty impressive. So you should get on it. For our agenda today, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at pictures of you and then also silly pictures of me that you guys have sent in from the last episode. 2, we have our new estimation 180 by Haaland, and it's a pretty interesting question. 3, we have some observations from the last math exploration, number 13, which was around volume. I'm going to talk about one particular question and then also explain cubed again, because I think I might have missed one important thing about why we called it cubed, the little 3 on top. 4, I'm going to introduce a new math exploration, which will be multiplying mixed numbers by other mixed numbers. So it's going to be a little bit complex, but I think you should be able to do it. 5, I'm going to have a new coloring sheet and a new set of Ken-Kens. And then 6, I'll have a goodbye message, and then a special announcement, and then also the answer to the estimation 180 question. So here are pictures of you and silly pictures of me. All right, so please keep sending pictures of yourself looking at the episode, and also just doing math. And then also you can keep sending funny pictures of me. I would love both, so please make sure to send both over. We are gonna have our new estimation 180 question. This one again was by Haaland, and this question is: how many pieces in Kylo Ren's TIE fighter?
All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was why this is cubed. So the last video I said that this is 3 dimensions, right? So we have length, width, and height, and so that's why there's a 3 on the answer. So this one would be a 3 by 3 by 4, and the base again is the 3 by 3. So this is 9 times 4, which gives us 36. And we're going to pretend this is inches. And then we don't say it to the power of 3, we say cubed. Now, very similarly to when we find the area of something, so if I had here the area of just the length and width, the area of this top spot would be 9, because there are 9 squares in here, right? So it's squared. 9 inches squared would be the answer to the area of this just top part. But because I'm talking about volume, very similarly to the squares, I'm literally finding how many cubes are there in total in this shape. And so that's why we call it cubed. As you can see here, these are individual cubes, and I'm trying to figure out how many there are in total, which is why I can do 3 times 3 times 4, and that tells me how many cubes I have. So yes, it is connected to the 3 dimensions, but it's also called cube because I'm literally finding how many cubes would there be in a shape. Now, on the worksheet, number 3 was one of the ones where I saw some confusion. So the question says, the volume of a rectangular prism with a square base is 200 cubic centimeters and the height is 8 centimeters. So the really important word there is with a square base. And so that square base really tells us a lot. As you know, a square has to have the same sides. And so I know that the length and the width are the same. So that's an interesting thing here. It says, do you have enough information to find the length of the rectangular prism? If not, what information do you need? If so, what is the length of the rectangular prism? So here I'm thinking 8 times the length times the width equals 200 cubic centimeters, right? So I'm thinking 8 times something must equal 200. Now, I know that these two somethings have to be the same, and so I'm thinking, I wonder what 200 divided by 8 is. And 200 divided by 8 happens to be 25. So these two numbers have to multiply together to be 25. And luckily enough, there are two numbers that multiply to make 25, which is 5 and 5. So the length of the rectangular prism is 5 centimeters, which gives us a total of 200 centimeters cubed. So those are the two things that I observed from the last work. All right, so for our new Math Exploration 14, we're going to look at multiplying mixed numbers by mixed numbers. And so fourth graders, some of this stuff that I'm going to go over today, I haven't taught you yet. And so you might need to watch the video over again or just do the best that you can. But I totally believe that you can do this if you really put your mind to it. So don't be discouraged or don't be distracted that it's fifth grade. This is just math, right? So if we push ourselves, we can totally do this. So first thing we're going to look at is if I had a question like 2.5 times 18. Now, some of the things you can do this here is I can break up this 2.5 into 2 and then half, and then create some sort of array that looks like this, where I have 2 on this side and half on that side, and then the 18 stays the same on top. So here I would multiply 2 times 18, and that is 36. And half of 18 is 9. And 36 plus 9 equals 45. And so 2.5 times 18 is 45. That's one way to solve it. Another way to solve it is to do something that I've definitely talked about with fourth grade and fifth grade, is doubling and halving. So I can double 2.5 to 5. And if I half 18, I could do that to 9. So I'm doubling the 2.5. And I'm taking half of 18. And this allows me to have the same answer. And 5 times 9 is 45. Let's check out another example. So let's say I had 4 5/10 times 10. It's another way of saying 4.5, right? So I could, again, break this up into 4 and half and keep the 10 over there. 4 times 10 is 40. And half of 10 is 5. And again, the answer is 45. I could do the doubling and halving thing again, though. 4.5, I could double that. And that becomes 9. And if I half 10, I get 5. And 9 times 5 is 45. Next question. And I apologize if my dog Bailey barks. He gets freaked out when the mailman comes in, so I'm going to try to ignore it. 3 Here's a different type of question. It's very similar to the doubling and halving, but a little different. So if I have 3 1/3 times 27, again, I can do this with the array and split up this 3 1/3 into 3 1/3 and have 27 on that side, and then break it up that way. And then 3 times 27, I'm going to do that on the side here. It's my standard algorithm. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 2, which is actually a 20. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. We have 81 there. And then 1/3 of 27, or 27 divided by 3, is 9. And so 81 plus 9 gives us 90. That's one way to do this. Another way that we can do this is I can multiply 3 1/3 by 3, which actually gets us 9. It actually gets us 10. And if I divide 27 by 3, I get 9. And 10 times 9 is 90. All right. So let's look at multiplying mixed numbers. So if I had 1 1/4 times 2 1/2, as you can see, I split up the mixed number on these two sides, on these 3 other questions very similarly, and I'm going to do the same thing here. But I'm going to do this 4 ways. So I'm going to split up the 1 1/4 into 1 1/4. And I'm going to split up the 2 1/2 into 2 1/2. Now I just multiply 2 times 1 gives me 2. 1 times 1/2 is just half. 1 times 2, 1/4 times 2 gives us what's 1/4 of 2, and that's half. And then 1/4 times 1/2, and this is again where I didn't teach the 4th graders this because it's a 5th grade content standard, but you multiply across. And so 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 2 is 8, and so that is 1/8. So now I have all my parts. I have 2 plus half plus half plus 1/8. You can see here 2 halves make a whole, so I have 3 1/8 is our answer. And if you have, let's say these were inches, because we're finding the area, this would be square inches. Again, I would highly recommend watching this video again if you're confused, and I will be more than happy to also to meet with any of you to help you out with any of the questions on the worksheet. There are only going to be 3 worksheets in this exploration.
All right, so I hope that is going to be too challenging for you. I really believe that you can do it. But again, I will be more than available to help you out with this. Monday would probably be the best day, and Tuesday morning if you really need it. But I think that you can do this, and it's only 3 pages. And so I do think that looking at the worksheets, everything that I just taught you is going to be on there. So there might be one thing about estimation, but you should be able to do that on your own. So I truly believe that you can do this. But again, I'm here to help you out. So if you can't, or need some more support, that's totally fine. The coloring sheet this week is a mystery, but the only clue that I will say is that Alex from 4th grade will love this coloring sheet. And then there's also going to be a new batch of Ken-Kens, so look for those in the Schoology page folder and also in your parents' email. So that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me today, and I wanted to say that next Friday's episode, so in a week from now, the episode is going to be a little different. So I'm going to have a math history lesson on that lesson. And so it's not going to be a traditional lesson. It's going to be a little bit of math history there. So I know some of you have missed that. And then also I'm going to do some student interviews. And it's going to be very quick 2-minute interviews. And if you would like to be in the episode and be interviewed by me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a invitation for a Teams meeting, and then I'm going to record what we talk about, and then I'm going to put it in the episode. So if you want to do that, I'm going to give your parents a Sign Up Genius. And I'm not going to put this on the Schoology page because you need to get your parents' permission for this. And if your parents are okay with it, you'll sign up for one of the Sign Up Genius spots, and then I'll video chat with you, I'll record it, and then I will put it on the video. So just I feel like we need to have some sort of like connection with the kids, and with each other, so that you can see each other in the video in a way that's a little bit more interactive. So a little student highlight would be kind of fun. And then I also lastly wanted to say thank you so much for all of the gifts that I've gotten in the mail. I know this is a really crazy time, but I appreciate all the love, all the emails that I've gotten. Just I do this for you guys, and I really do miss being in front of you. And this isn't the same, but I'm trying. And so just know that I really appreciate everything. And you know, it's teacher appreciation for us, but parents, I'm sure you're doing a lot of things that you wouldn't think that you would be doing. And I appreciate you and your work, and you've been doing a great job. And so thank you so much. But here is the answer to the estimation 180 question, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.